Greetings, my dears, in love and light. How to determine your frequency and how to raise it. German biophysicist Fritz Albert Popp has found that all living cells emit photons, that's light, and this light appears to originate within DNA, and it can transmit at different frequencies. Professor Fritz Albert Popp has said that we know today that man essentially is a being of light. So our cells are radiating light, and light is emitted at different frequencies on the electromagnetic spectrum. Now you can determine your frequency by examining how you feel, examining your mood, and how you feel physically as well as mentally, but I'll get into that. A microbiologist called Bruce Tainio created a device called the Frequency Monitoring System, and this monitors the various frequencies coming from various objects or living things. The meter monitors the nanovoltage or frequency of the electromagnetic wave passing through an object or person. Now you might feel like you want to buy one of these meters, but they no longer sell them anymore due to reasons like all the electromagnetic interference that surrounds us these days, such as all the cell phone towers and all the electrical equipment such as Wi-Fi, and this interferes with the proper working of the monitoring system. So Bruce Tainio decided to monitor human beings, different parts of human beings, and the things we eat and other things that we use and consume. And here are some of the frequencies that he observed. The average body organ frequencies. The thyroid and parathyroid glands are 62 to 68 megahertz. The lungs 67 to 70 megahertz. The stomach 58 to 65 megahertz. So the average human being is approximately 62 to 68 megahertz. Now there's certain things, it was found, that we consume that actually lower this frequency, and then other things that we can use to raise the frequency. So here are the frequencies of people and things. Remembering that the human body is 62 to 68 megahertz, cold symptoms create a frequency of 58 megahertz, and as you can see, this is lower than the average human body frequency. Flu symptoms are a little lower still at 57 megahertz. Cancer is lower still at 42 megahertz, and at the onset of death it was found that persons measured an average frequency of 25 megahertz. Processed canned food, it's worth noting, measured 0 megahertz, compared to fresh produce, which was up to 15 megahertz. So we see that illness lowers our frequency, it lowers our vibration. Processed foods are of a low vibration, and natural foods are of a higher vibration. Now in a moment I'll tell you how that eating these can actually raise our vibration. For example, a subject's frequency was measured at the start of an experiment, which turned out to be 66 megahertz. They were then asked to drink some coffee, and their frequency lowered to 58 megahertz. They were then given some essential oils to inhale, and within 21 seconds their frequency raised back up to 66 megahertz once more. So this points to essential oils being very positive substances in terms of frequency. And here's a table to show their values. This is the frequency of single essential oils, and rose comes out top at 320 megahertz. Other ones include lavender at 118 and basil at 52 there at the bottom. So it seems that rose is a really nice essential oil to have. So if you're feeling your frequency is lowered, you're feeling unwell, or your mood is low, you could inhale essential oils such as rose and potentially increase your frequency. So one way to determine your frequency is if you have an illness. So as we see here, the average brain frequencies are 70 to 78 megahertz, and the onset of flu symptoms is approximately 58 megahertz, and viral infection 55 megahertz. So if you catch a viral infection, it can lower your frequency. So obviously then, taking positive substances such as substances rich in vitamin C, so fruits and vegetables, that should help raise your frequency because these are natural foods. And another way to determine your frequency is your mood and how you feel. If your thoughts and your emotions are of a negative nature, it can be lowering your frequency. But you can remedy that using thoughts of a positive nature. So Tainio also did experiments regarding thoughts and emotions. And he asked subjects to think thoughts of a negative nature. And he found that on average their frequency lowered by approximately 12 megahertz. He also asked them to think thoughts of a positive nature, and he found that on average their frequency raised by approximately 10 megahertz. So those were ways to determine your frequency. Now, these are ways to raise it. You can raise your frequency, as already discussed, by purchasing things like essential oils and inhaling them. That's one way. Number 2, think thoughts of a positive nature in order to raise your frequency. Now I know this is easier said than done, and that's why inner work is so important. Please see my videos such as the one on core beliefs to help work on yourself, deep down, subconscious work to rid yourself of the negative programming that you've received in your past and negative beliefs about yourself in order to help your thoughts day to day. Plus, you can check yourself and check your mood and do things to try and improve your mood. And in that way, you'll think thoughts of a more positive nature and raise your vibration if it's feeling low. And the second part of point number 2 regarding thought are the Dr. Emoto experiments. Dr. Emoto took distilled water and had subjects think thoughts of a positive or negative nature to them, such as love and thanks, or I hate you. And he then analysed the frozen water afterwards, after freezing it, and found crystals of various shapes within them. Now, the positive thoughts produced beautiful crystals of coherent, regulated patterns, very beautiful, and negative thoughts produced disorganised, disarranged ice crystals with no patterns within them. These experiments were repeated over and over, so that hints to us that the nature of thought can help to organise the molecules within our body or disorganise the molecules within our body. Thoughts are energy and they affect our physical body complex. There's a lot of water in our bodies. Number 3, try and remove as much electromagnetic interference from around you as possible. We have a lot more electromagnetic interference around us nowadays because we use things like Wi-Fi and the increased number of electrical items that we use. All electrical items give out an electromagnetic field, plus the increasing number of cell phone towers around us, as I mentioned before. So short of moving out into the middle of nowhere, there's a limited amount of things you can actually do. But do things like turning off electrical items when they're not being used and turn off your Wi-Fi at night, or consider not having Wi-Fi. Dr. Ellis Evans of emfguru.co.uk says that telecommunications industries have known for years exposure to microwave frequencies induces cancers of various types. That is why current safety standards for Wi-Fi, cell phones, etc. are based on thermal effects only. They only test their heating effects on us and not the radiation they give out. They know, as well as regulators, that any safety studies involving biological effects will quickly show the carcinogenic nature of exposure to microwave frequencies. The frequencies that things like cell phone towers give out are microwave frequencies, which, due to prolonged exposure, may have some negative effects, but research hasn't been properly undertaken apart from for the thermal heating effects. Number 4, to increase your frequency, listen to some sounds or some music of a positive nature. Dr. Emoto also found that by playing pleasant music to water, or by playing more negative sounding music like thrash metal, some people may disagree with me if that's negative sounding or not, but the ice crystals that resulted, again, were disarranged for thrash metal type music and were beautiful crystals for more relaxing, gentle, harmonious type music. So you can choose music that sounds good. And just to further illustrate the power of sound in creating patterns like ice crystals, but this time patterns in sand, take a look at this. This is a metal plate being vibrated using a tone generator. So sounds are played through the metal plate. Geometric patterns appear in the sand depending on the tone. Look at the different patterns that appear with different tones. Again, these are not disorganized patterns, they are highly organized patterns. So you can use soothing music, a singing bowl or a chime to help raise your frequency. Number 5, meditation. You can use meditation to raise your frequency because when we meditate, our minds reset. They go back to the default value, and that's what the mind wants to do. We're no longer swept up in the busyness, the stress and the thoughts of the day which can overtake us. We go down to the nice alpha brainwave pattern and let everything go, and in turn your frequency raises because we're feeling more positive and grounded. Number 6, de-stress to raise your frequency. Fun and laughter help to dissolve stress away, plus relaxation. So take a bubble bath, take some time out, read a book, do something of a positive nature and let go of the busyness of the day. And in turn, this raises your frequency. Number 7, take a walk in the woods. Now, as well as de-stressing, this helps you to feel the frequencies of the nature around you. As we found, natural things have a positive, higher frequency, and you will experience this frequency as you walk in and among it. And this will raise your own frequency. So get out in nature or have a walk in the woods, whatever, as long as it's a natural environment, and feel better. Number 8, raise your frequency by doing that inner work, as I already said. See my videos and my playlist on inner work and all the inner work you can do to heal your past leading to this moment. And number 9, eat natural foods, as I keep saying. As we saw, the frequency of these foods is higher and raises your own frequency. As well as that, avoid microwave food, and here's why.
They decrease food value 60 to 90%. Broccoli lost 97% of its antioxidant content when cooked in a microwave, whereas the same broccoli only lost 11% when it was steamed. It causes a disruption in the formation and function of your hormones. It disturbs brain function, particularly impacting concentration and memory. It diminishes the function of your immune system. It increases carcinogens in all foods that are cooked in a microwave. And it transforms living foods into dead matter. Now, it's been determined that every microwave, no matter how good, leaks microwaves into the atmosphere. That, coupled with cell phones, TV, transmission towers, and computers, actually surrounds us with a microwave smog that has a cumulative effect on us, and our body becomes more sensitive over time.
And number 10, practice an attitude of gratitude. Because when you're feeling grateful of everything you have, you're not in a state of wanting or lack, which is negative vibrations. When you're feeling grateful for the air in your lungs, your health, if you have it, or just being alive, or grateful for everything you have, which is probably a lot more than 80% of the rest of the world's population, then you're in a positive vibration. And in that way, being in that positive frequency, you'll manifest better things for yourself, because we always hear that the law of attraction works better when we have a positive vibration, right? And all of this contributes to that. So that's been how to determine your frequency and how to raise it. Now, there's lots of other ways to raise your frequency as well. So please leave me a comment and let me know how you raise your frequency to feel better.